Hello and welcome back to Humans and Society. This video focuses on the topic critique under the subject English for academic and professional purposes. Before we continue the lesson, let us look at the most essential learning competencies for this lesson. At the end of the lesson, students are expected to use appropriate critical writing to critique a work of art, an event, or a program, and write an objective, balanced review or critique of an art, an event, or program. In the previous lessons, we have talked about the definition of technical writing, the features of academic writing, the different text structures, the thesis statement, the outline, and the summary. How do you say something is good or bad? What aspects do you consider when saying so? When you try to convince people to try the books, movies, music, games, food, or gadgets that you like, you are essentially giving a critique. Let us try this activity. A cell phone is undoubtedly one of the most helpful gadgets one can have. Look at your own phone or think of your dream phone. Check out its physical look and the features it has. What do you think are the features of the phone you reviewed? Do you think others will be interested to have this cell phone too? Why? What about its limitations? How do you deal with these? The answers to the questions above are some of the essential information you will consider as you create a critique or review. When you decide what piece of literature to read, it is important that you consider different perspectives to help you better understand what you are to read. Hence, the importance of critical approaches. Here are some of the most common critical approaches in literature. The reader response criticism affirms that the meaning of text depends on how a reader reacts to it. Its focus is on the reading process and how it affects the reader's understanding of meaning in a text. Reader response approach primarily deals with the process of creating meaning and experiencing the text as it is being read. Hence, the text serves as an experience that lives in the reader's imagination. This formula makes it easier to understand the reader response approach. Reader plus reading situation plus text equals meaning. Keep in mind that in reader response, the interpretation of a reader towards a certain text usually changes over time, depending on his or her reading situation. Hence, the readers from different generations and time periods have varied interpretation of text as well. Formalistic criticism asserts that the meaning of text depends on the form, the literary elements, and how the writer utilized it in the entire text is the main focus of this approach. Unlike the reader response, where the reader's situation affects the meaning of the text, in formalism, the text is independent from its time period, social setting, and even the author's background. Hence, it has a fixed meaning. Likewise, when formalism approach is used, meaning of literary texts become timeless and universal. Psychological criticism is based on Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic approach. It asserts that any text is a reflection of its author's mind and personality. Moreover, it also looks onto the hidden motives of the literary characters within the text. Sociological criticism claims that the social environment must be considered in analyzing and interpreting a text. It focuses on the values of a society and how those views are reflected in a text. Issues concerning economy, politics, and culture within literary texts must be stressed. With sociological approach, any form of literature is a reflection of its society. Under sociological criticism are the Marxist and feminist criticisms. Marxist criticism focuses on the economic and political elements of art, often emphasizing the ideological content of literature. It is based on the political theory of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. The role of power Politics and money in literary texts are emphasized in this approach. Usually, when Marxism is used to analyze a text, the way in which the majority exploits the minority is conveyed. More so, the way where people become estranged from one another because of power, money, and politics is likewise revealed. Feminist criticism is concerned with the role, position, and influence of women in a literary text. This approach asserts that most literature throughout time has been written only by men, for men. Feminist critics examine the female consciousness being depicted by both male and female characters. Biographical criticism contends that to better understand any text, the author's life and background must also be taken into account. Knowing the author's personal experiences, his struggles and successes in life can help the reader better interpret the text. New historicist criticism claims that every literary text is a product of its time and its world. Utilizing this approach emphasizes the background information imperative to better understand how literary texts were perceived in their time. Moreover, it also shows how these texts reflect the ideas and attitudes of the time in which they were written. Lastly, new historicist critics compare the language in contemporary documents and literary texts to reveal cultural assumptions and values within a text. A critique or a review is a text that expresses judgment on anything that can be procured, so that its readers will have initial information before making any related decisions about it. If you are to write a review, it must be credible. You must prepare a certain set of criteria for evaluating what you are to review. Guided with the criteria, your claims will be more objective, thus giving more credibility to your work. Remember that for your review to be effective, it must be based on accurate observations. No matter what you are to review, take these general guidelines to help you better write a critique or a review. Number 1. Think of an interesting title. This should be interesting enough to catch the attention of your readers. You may opt to do this before or after writing. Number 2. On your first paragraph, provide a sufficient background discussion of what you are to review. 3 to 5 sentences on this part will do. Number 3. The second paragraph serves as the crucial point in your text. This will serve as the transition period from the background of what you are to review, leading to your general impression. This also serves as the thesis statement of the text you are writing. Number 4. The third paragraph indicates the start of the critique or review proper. At this point, all the concrete and specific details will serve as support to the general impression you gave on the second paragraph. Doing this will make your review more objective in perspective. As you go into the details, remember to discuss both the positive and negative aspects of what you are reviewing. The positive ones are presented first. Number 5. Include recommendations for the aspects which you find the need for attention or improvement. Number 6. Consider giving a rating of what you have reviewed. This helps readers measure the quality of the products or services they are interested in. Now that you can evaluate the flow of a certain review, it is now time for you to write your own. This is your performance task for the week and should have a minimum of 500 words. During the first activity, you were asked to evaluate a phone. This time, your critique will be based on your academic track. If you are from ABM, you will do a review of an online selling website or a live streaming event. If you are from Humes, you are to write a book review, a movie review, or a review of an artwork. If you are from TVL HE, you will do a restaurant or food review. If you are from TVL ICT, you will do a product review of a phone or game application. And if you are from TVL EIM, you will do a product review of a machine or tool that you use in your practice. Keep in mind the essential information you need in writing a critique or review. Your output will be assessed using the following criteria: content 40%, organization 35%, mechanics 25%, for a total of 100%. If you have any questions regarding the lesson or the activity for the week, please contact your subject teacher for clarifications. The ideas discussed in this video are based on the content standards of the Department of Education. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.